Hello, I'm Jessie, and this is for Module 3 discussion. The first question is, how could you vary your teaching techniques to ensure that I reach all the various learning abilities I may have in my classroom? I would use a wide range of techniques to cater to each student, and this is universal design, or simply called multi-methodology, and that's found on page 130 in our textbooks. I would apply the activities based on the student's readiness and their interest. So I would have visual aids, hands-on activities, written instruction, interactive demonstrations, group work, one-on-one, and I would also allow for extra time for students to understand and grasp the content. Now, with that, they would be based on, if we have to review a topic, the basics of a topic in order to build on it, we would start out with an activity where we're reviewing. Maybe like a worksheet or a video, because all students learn differently. I would also be flexible. I do that now in my class. I teach preschool, so I'm very flexible with them. And I want to teach elementary school, so I think flexibility is huge. And so that we would have different activities and different things, and also allowing for all students to have the opportunity to get the content and grasp it. I would also evaluate my students with quizzes, assessments, tests, activities where I can watch them, and I would assess them, and whether they're getting it or not, that will help me evaluate my instruction and how I need to incorporate more maybe visual aids or more worksheets. All that comes into play, and I would evaluate on the assessments and adjust my instruction techniques to each child. I mean, to all the children, because you're teaching a group. If I look at Kaplan Matrix, it's a good way to help me understand if my children are understanding and grasping it. First, they get the knowledge, the comprehension, then they application, and then they have analysis and synthesis. And all these go from the basics, and you just build on to understanding the information. And that is found on page 127 in our textbooks. I liked it. I thought it was a good way to help when you're doing the lesson planning in your activities, engaging them in those kind of ways, so you understand that your students are grasping all the content that you want them to. So the second question is, what if you were asked to teach online in a virtual environment? Would those techniques change, and if so, why or how? They would change. I would have to adapt some of my techniques of instruction. My content would be delivered in various ways, from required reading assignments and virtual meetings, like scheduled virtual meetings, recorded lectures, interactive tools, digital interactive tools, obviously. I also would have other resources for them, and maybe YouTube videos, podcasts, some slideshows available to the children or to my students, so they have other ways to build on. Also, some interactive tools that they can use online. And I found this with my son when we were in COVID, we used like ABC Mouse where they had interactive games and stuff, and it helped him because my daughter, she was in kindergarten at the time. I also would use platforms like Zoom so students could break off into groups like we do with our PLCs and allow them to do group work and help each other out on topics and stuff. I also would make sure the lessons were probably smaller so the students didn't get overloaded, because I feel like sometimes that can happen with online courses and online classes. And then you get unmotivated students, and that's harder for them to understand the content and information that you want them to understand and grasp. I would also offer incentives for students. Like for me, I may do class dojo points for younger kids, and grades are big incentives for the older students. Now, my choice question was, what graphic organizers could I use to present concepts in my subject area of teaching? How would graphic organizers work for children? I want to teach elementary school, so I would have many subjects that I would be teaching. And in chapter 6 on page 160 and 161 in our textbook, they talk about graphic organizers, and the visual tools help students organize the info and help make it easier for them to understand the content. It also helps break down complex ideas so the students can get a better understanding, and helps them have a better chance of retaining the information I want them to. Some graphic organizers I could use with my elementary school levels is timelines and like history lessons, T-charts to help them compare information. And I found this on understand.org, this information about graphic organizers. Help them compare similar ideas, maybe in two different stories. I could do flow charts to help show the process in a sequence, like to solve a math problem or the process of certain science topics. The T-charts help with ELA is what I was trying to explain. I'm sorry. Graphic organizers work for students by giving them a visual breakdown of the concepts and help them make connections and ideas. It organizes information, and it also helps with participation from the students because they can help fill in the charts. It gives them a visual aid, so visual learners have a better chance of understanding it. It helps promote group work, and it helps with sequencing, which is important, I think. With graphic organizers, students are able to understand and organize and retain the information more efficiently. Thank you.